Any more time? Let's go in game. Let's kick us off with a little bit of StarCraft, shall we? So, how's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a good day so far. I mean, it's pretty early on, midday, 1 PM if you're watching from Europe, maybe much earlier if you're watching over in NA. But, yeah, for me, it's, well, I guess it's still pretty early for me as well. I was up quite late through the night, but, yeah, it's, feeling good so far. Nothing's gone wrong yet, I guess. So, looking pretty good as we kick things off onto Dusk Towers for this ZvT best of 3. To the upper right-hand side of the map, our pink Zerg player from Dead Pixels, recent runner-up at Home Story Cup 13. Let's hear it, guys, if you're cheering on Scarlett. As down to the bottom left, it's going to be our red Terran player. Let's hear it, guys, if you're cheering on MVP's GuMiho. Again, guys, we're going to try and cast as much as we can today, but the Chinese casters, they wouldn't hold Beyond versus Journey for us, which is a little bit sucky. But we still get, I mean, Scarlett GuMiho is still a good match to kick things off, and then of course we will have that IS only versus natural match afterwards. And then again, I believe we get both semi-finals. If we don't, I'm going to be very upset, but we'll see how things go. We'll see what happens as we kick things off here. Again, just tells for the ZvT. I mean, triple hatch before the gas for Scarlett is what she likes to do on this map. It's how she always plays the ZvTs on this map, actually. It's a little bit weak against any kind of aggression. As we saw, I think it might even be in the last Douyu Star Masters monthly final against Beyond. She got proxy ripped on this map. Kind of took it to late game, but was just so far behind she couldn't really make it work. But, yeah, I mean, she likes to do this on this map, and very little kind of, you know, realistically that GuMiho can do to punish this. We see right now GuMiho just with the opening, very well, not super standard actually. He's going for a second reactor with the factory, which means that he's probably going to go into some reactor deliberators right from the get-go here, which is different. It's very different. Well, is it that different? Well, we've been seeing this a lot, especially on Dusk Towers, where you see kind of, whoa, double medevac. Okay. Well, yeah, so this is, yeah, this is actually a build as well. Sorry, I'm completely out of it. The thing is, as well, I thought, is he doing this build? I was like, no. For some reason, the reactor always froze me. The reactor always makes me start thinking, like, double liberators, blah, 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 blah. But no, it's just this very simple, kind of super fast 14 Marine drop with a Widow Mine as well. He might just be shy of 14 Marines. He's on 10 right now. He's going to have 2 more popping. That's going to be it. So he's going to have 12 Marines and a Widow Mine in these medevacs going across the map very early in the game. So it's a very early drop, and honestly, it's very good against what Scarlett is doing. I mean, you look at Scarlett, what has she got to defend as well? 3 queens, a 4th queen on the way up, probably a couple more queens around. So she's going to have to pull all of her queens together to be able to hold this off, because it's not going to be easy. Viking Liberator follow-up as well from GuMiho, continuing to set up into this. And we're going to see a 3rd CC behind us as well. So continue to set up as we have these couple of medevacs. They're just coming up towards the right-hand side of the map. Then Queens, nice. Get into position already. That's one of the main things you want to do here. You want to get into position. You want to start turning these away quickly and just stop them from unloading. And love the spore crawlers as well to help kind of deter them away. And we're going to see them still going to commit in and sort of drop here. Lings right now are slow. This queen pulls back, does not quite go down just yet. Of course, no stim. There's 2 free drones go down on the gas so far, and while these Lings are going to start fighting, another medevac taking a lot of damage. That Widow Mine going to go off on the queen. Splashes onto quite a few Zerglings as well as Scarlett is targeting down those medevacs, and as the medevacs go down, the Marines lose a lot of their potency in this game, and so they will eventually kind of start dying off, and they will begin to fall. So this may not have looked great for Scarlett. Yeah, she lost quite a bit. She had to make a lot of units, but she's still ahead on the work camp because she's drawn so heavily beforehand. And she's got spore crawlers now to deal with this Liberator and so on, so she shouldn't really lose too much more here. In fact, this should be pretty okay for Scarlett, really. Just this wouldn't mind being a little bit of a nuisance right now, but there's also a spore crawler here which can move to deal with that if she recognizes that it's still around. As spore crawler just repositioning, Viking picked up 1 Overlord kill so far, going for a second now as well. That queen is right on the edge of the Liberator range. Let's be a little bit careful about that as the spore will once again move into position. So continued aggression out of GuMiho as we see a big run, well, a big Ling attack from Scarlett. She's not really looking to do anything with this. No Bane in there, so can't really bust through this wall. But if there was a 3rd base already down in position here, if GuMiho has been a little bit greedy perhaps, she would have been able to shut that, you know, she would have been able to make something happen there. She would have been able to, you know, maybe deny that, and she might still be able to slow this down a little bit, because GuMiho doesn't have a lot of units just yet, and there's still no stim pack in this game. This build would actually get stim pack and combat shields very late on, just due to the fact that, you know, you're committing into all those medevacs and so on early. You're not really getting your barracks onto Tech Lab until these 2 extra barracks come up, as that third CC just being forced to lift, and again, the longer that's lifted, the less SCV production there is in the game for GuMiho, so that's not a bad move at all by Scarlett, as she has a couple of queens chasing down that Viking. And what else is going on around the bases? Well, not too much. A single chamber is upgrading. The other one is going to start right now as well. So 1-1 on the way for both players. Slight advantage to GuMiho in terms of the armor / carapace, but that is about it. So, you know, the +1 melee, the +1 attack is pretty even on either side. So upgrades are fairly similar. Baneoness on the way up for Scarlett as well as that finishes. She does now have a lair, so she can go straight into centrifugal hooks and that Baneland speed. And Scarlett has been liking to play kind of a Ling Bane into, well, a combination of styles lately. She's liked to play Ling Bane Meter, she's liked to play Ling Bane Corruptor as well. So we'll see what she wants to go for here on Just Towers, obviously one of the maps where it's a lot easier to hold the 4 bases. And so maybe we see just the Ling Bane Corruptor rather than the Meters to kind of really chase down drops. I mean, it is a very droppable map, but when drops are one of the only real kind of things you have to worry about, you maybe don't need the drop defense of the Mutalisk as much, so we're probably going to see Ling Bane Corruptor here, but again, I mean, right now it still could be either or. I mean, the Spire's coming up in good time. We have a couple of tanks from GuMiho who love this, just slowing down the creep spread. I mean, one of the things about Scarlett is her creep spread is so good, all of the time. And so, when you're, you know, when someone's creep spread is so good, it's so important to try and just stop them and slow them down as much as possible, because it may not seem like Scarlett still has a creep team out here, but if you can just slow it down a bit, it's crazy, you know, it really will kind of have repercussions for you later in the game, where finally you're looking at this and you're like, yes, I'm so glad I cleaned up that creep, because now I can actually push, and I can actually just do so much more. So, I love this by GuMiho. Just a couple of tanks, very safe, can't really be killed by anything until Mutalisks or Corruptors come out onto the map, and even then, it's only really the Mutalisks which can give chase, and we're about to see what it is going to be. It is going to be the Mutalisks as the choice from Scarlett, so she is going to play a little bit of Ling Bane Meter here on Just Towers. So, going to play a little bit of Ling Bane Meter, as we just have this Ling Bane over towards the right hand side, and well, big push now coming through the center, cleaning up their max, so a little bit of creep spread. Scarlett still has pretty good creep though, because her creep's so good, despite it being pushed back quite effectively, it's still surrounding her bases, so she still has the ability to engage on creep here, as we see more Lings on the way out. A few Banes have just finished up. She's hiding in her 4th base mineral line right now, buying a little bit more time, doesn't want to rush into anything she doesn't have to. As we see another couple of tanks just coming forwards, and that mutant count rising on up. What can she get done with the Muters? As the first few Marines come forwards, it looks like there might be go time. Coming in all from one angle, gonna start splitting a few units around the right. This isn't the best fight for Scarlett at all. Her units sort of caught on this cliff instead of being able to just go straight down and greeting these Marines and tanks. As we're gonna see her starting to clean on up, and well, she might just about push this away. But yeah, she lost all the Meters, right? Yeah, okay, she lost all the Mutalisks and everything else as well. So Scarlett just has to GG out. Man, what's up? How you doing? My favorite person of Home Story Cup. What's up, man? How are you feeling? Have you got the Home Story Cup illness as well? My throat is still pretty bad. It's really awful. It's really awful. But it actually feels kind of okay right now, but then I get the feeling later on today it's going to be completely crap again, like it was. Like yesterday I was like, oh, my throat's kind of fine while I'm casting. About 3 hours later I was like, I can't speak. It was really bad. Pretty awful. Anyways, we're into game number 2 of this best of 3 right now. GuMiho versus Scarlett. Let's kick things off. To the bottom right hand side of the map, our pink Zerclair, of course, is Scarlett. Down again. Can she fight back and bring this back? You know, bring herself back into this series. Let's find out. The opponent, of course, not going to be an easy opponent. It is to the upper left hand side of the map, the red Terran player. Let's hear it. Cheering on GuMiho. So, as we get ready to jump into game number 2 of this, I mean, King Sejong Station, we have to point this out. The rocks. Just look at the rocks, right? I mean, these rocks are basically just saying, abuse me. So it's going to be very important for Scarlett early in this game to find a way to get through these rocks and to, you know, really kind of, you know, make it through here and stop any kind of tank-based play coming up over to the right-hand side of, you know, of these rocks, basically. So it needs to try and stop that, get those rocks down. I mean, this map's so annoying because the Liberator's positioning up here can be very frustrating to deal with as well. You know, there's so many issues. So many issues that you can face as a Zerg player playing against a Terran here. So Gonna have to kind of see how this goes. We just see reactor expand from GuMiho, gonna get a few of Marines out on the map early, and might just be the same build from GuMiho right from the get-go here. You're sick of Reno as well? Oh man, yeah, I know. It's everyone I've talked to that was at Home Story Cup is like sick or ill in some way. It's pretty crazy how many people can all be kind of sick at the same time. Like, I'm not like, I don't know, because I'm not like ill. I don't know, like I feel pretty good in myself, but my throat. To be fair, the first day I was back, I felt awful, but yeah, I feel a bit better now. So, it's just my throat still, which of course is a bit of a shitty thing to have if you're trying to cast all the time. To have a bad throat, obviously. So, so yeah. All right. Anyways, yeah, just, I mean, it's very standard TVZ so far. We are once again seeing this exact same build out of GuMiho, so no difference from him just yet. He's taking down these destructible rocks, or destructible plate, or whatever. Scarlett taking a third hatchery. Her build is a bit different this game, in the sense that she's gone for this very fair, you know, she's gone hatch gas pool with the third hatchery, rather than the, you know, she went in hatch gas pool instead of kind of free hatch without the gas, so a little bit of a different opening from Scarlett, so she might try and deal with this very differently. She's on much fewer queens this time around, though, so, you know, as we look at this, she's going to have link speed this time, but she's going to have less queens when it comes to trying to defend this drop. So how effective is that? I actually kind of like the extra queens. I feel as though the extra queens are a pretty perfect way to kind of defend this, because with the extra queens, you have so much potential to just, you know, do a lot of cleaning up, you know, and hunt down those medevacs, really shoot at them, and try and stop them from ever unloading. So, see how this goes. There's GuMiho again, just that Widow Mine on the way out, a couple extra Marines. It's once again going to be, yeah, again, about 12 Marines plus the Widow Mine in these medevacs as they get ready to go across the map here very, very soon. So, just going to be seeing medevacs pop in, and we'll follow those across the map here in the next couple of moments as we see lift them up. All those units. Actually gets 2 more Marines out this time around. I was going to say the build looks a little bit neater this time, and we do see the full medevacs this time getting across the map rather than slightly, just slightly not full medevacs as we see them just continuing to come down towards the south side. We're going to see some Zerglings just joining up together from Scarlett. We're going to see a queen or two just popping out as well. You see, oh, I like this big link counter attack. And actually, with that command center building, there's a lot of surface area here, but it can't be repaired obviously because it's still building. I really like this. It's going to force a cancel on this CC, and the Lings are going to start breaking through at the same time. Drops going to start getting shut down in the main base. Scarlett has so many Zerglings here. Queen hunting down the medevac as well, and Scarlett gets off to a fantastic start in game number 2. She's still over here in the natural, and oh my god, GuMiho's just taking so much damage. 13 workers dead and climbing as these Zerglings continue to get damage done over here. 2 Marines pop out, they can get into the bunker, but that's about all they can do right now, as those Zerglings, well, they've been so good and so effective at shutting down this medevac play. What a play by Scarlett, great counter-attack, and that is definitely going to help her out in this, as we see, well, just a single mule and an SCV mining away over here. Queen still chasing that medevac. Liberator going to come into position, but immediately a Spore Crawler is burrowing underneath that. Scarlett just not realizing in time there to kind of get that going, as we see, oh, I mean, she can kill the bunker, right? There's enough Zerglings here. I think to actually just straight up kill the bunker. 4 Marines in it, those going to make it pretty close, and in the end she does just pick off another couple of workers, making up for the few workers she is still losing over here. Actually, she doesn't have any Zerglings, and she's actually got pull drones, so Scarlett's still taking a little bit more damage herself, finally pulling those queens in. I mean, the Spore Crawler did actually pick off the Liberator, and we also saw that queen going down, the medevac going down as well to the queen, so these last few Marines have been pushed away. Scarlett comes out of this with a 19-ish worker, 20-ish worker lead, let's just say. A 20-ish worker lead, and we're going to see that Viking for GuMiho starting to try and hunt down some overlords here. Clean Bandit, you, my man, how you doing with the sub hype? Thank you so much, buddy. Guys, let's throw some STI hearts towards you. He's an amazing guy. I met him at Home Story Cup, and we partied pretty damn hard, and he's pretty awesome. So let's see some love for him. Thank you very much for the sub, dude. Appreciate it. Viking, moving down the left-hand side. Again, picking off an Overlord here, picking off an Overlord there. +1 melee upgrades, about to finish up for our Zerg player. And that's something that GuMiho obviously does not have at all, because, you know, basically the, you know, the lack of, you know, the workers he's lost has really slowed him down in certain ways, and that definitely, you know, one of those ways is definitely the fact that he's been slowed down so much in his upgrades, we don't even see engineering base just yet. We see a little bit of an attempted drop over here. Yeah, I like it. It's cool. It's nifty. It's neat. It's alright. But I mean, at the same time, you know, he's got to do a lot of damage. You know, he's 25 workers behind. We see more lings going across the map to maybe work their way through these rocks or something. We see these marines just kind of clean up a creep team over here. And, well, just slowing down a little bit of the creeps to the right-hand side. These, well, this siege tank being very annoying over here, as we see. Marines will come forward and talk at the medevac, try and get rid of that high ground vision, of course. One of the main things he wants to get done, as we see the lings just thinking about going up the ramp, but will once again be turned away as the Zerglings just backing off again over to the right-hand side. Again, a few Marines just over here, but Zerglings in high enough numbers will turn those Marines away effectively and quickly, as, again, just, that siege tank just something that we have to be a little bit, wary of. I mean, siege tank can do quite a lot of damage to no point, kind of, you know, running into things too quickly. This CT run got cancelled twice earlier, remember. It's now on its third time building. It's finally become an orbital command, so finally this command center has become what it wanted to, what it always wanted to be. As you see, a couple of small cores taking damage here. This natural expansion taking some damage. So Scarlett's still having some trouble with this position, but there we go. The Zerglings coming in from the right-hand side, the left-hand side attack as well, and she will begin to clean on up. The tanks go down to the right. GuMiho doesn't really lift anything at all. Loses everything other than 3 Marines. He has still one tank up on this high ground, and we are going to be seeing the Zerglings just running on in, but the tank gets lifted here, so GuMiho retains some sort of units. As, again, Scarlett's upgrades are just one of the huge advantages she has in this game. I mean, +2/+2 about to finish up here from Scarlett, so +2 upgrades about to finish. We see 9 more meters being added on, +1 air weapons is being added on as well by Scarlett. I mean, we have a lot of, we have you know, there's a lot of different things that go in Scarlett's way, so while the suppliers look, oh my god, GuMiho is like even in supply more or less, Scarlett has a lot of advantages right now. As long as she can deal with this kind of attack here, which I believe she can. I mean, she's got mutants coming out, so she can force these Liberators to siege. She can run into this, I think. She can even go around the long way if she really wants to. Go around the long way to the right-hand side, you know, around the top, and get a bit of a surround going if she really wants to, as we have just these meters picking off the medevac there. Already the Liberators on siege, and GuMiho realizes that this is just not going to work out if there's meters on the map. So he backs away once again, as we're going to see this Lingbane army from Scarlett is just going to start heading up this map, and well, Scarlett might just be looking for an opportunity to take an engagement here sometime soon, as we see, again, those couple of Liberators, that Viking just joining up towards this third base. These medevacs going to be unloading here very soon, as news coming in towards the natural expansion, going to pick off the turret here. We see SCVs starting to go down, so a little bit of work damage being done. Liberators coming in to push the meters over to the left-hand side, but that means the Liberators aren't here to defend to the right, which, well, maybe isn't the biggest of issues. I just think, in general, Scarlett just has way too much. Stream is on in with the Zerglings, and here we go. The Baners not going to connect on too much. In fact, the Baners don't hit on anything at all, but the meters clean up a lot at the end as they kind of loop around back towards this army. The third base is going to get cleaned out and gutted, and Scarlett, off the back of a very good defense in the early stages of the game, is Scarlett, as we kick off game number 3. We have to the bottom left-hand side of the map our pink Zerg player from Dead Pixels. Guys, I want to hear it right now if you're cheering on Scarlett. Go Scarlett, says Robbie Blitz in the chat. Scarlett, says Starlight as well. Go Scarlett from Frostlight SCA. You what? GuMiho, what? Says Siege Tank Dieter. As we have to the upper right hand side, the red Terran player from MVP. Let's see it, guys. If you're cheering on GuMiho. Scarlett had such a good start to that game. The early Ling run by combined with the amazing defense at home. It's like she didn't just Ling run by and do damage. She did damage while completely shutting down the aggression of GuMiho. And yes, GuMiho then did a little bit of extra damage after that. His next attacks did get something done. But at the end of the day, was it enough? No, it wasn't enough to make for the cancelled first command center twice. The multiple workers which went down. So it wasn't enough for GuMiho. Let's see if he's got a bit of a better plan in game number 3. He's going to immediately open up with a bit of a different build. He's going to go for the Reaper Expand, which of course isn't what we've been seeing so far. So far today, we've been seeing anything but the Reaper Expand from GuMiho. We've been seeing 2 Reactor Expands into reacted medevacs and very fast pushes onto the map. This time going to be a little bit different, it would seem, from GuMiho, as we see the first Reaper just on the way out, and so this immediately sort of suggests a very different build to what he's been doing, but up until now, as we see the factory is on the way. Again, in the spawn location, Scarlett should be very happy about these. The cross spawns allow for a lot of different counter-attack pathways. They allow for kind of, much longer brush distance, a much harder to kind of push map for the Terran player as well. If they're cross spawns, Terran can't push through the center as easily as he could maybe say push down the right hand side if they are vertical, push through the center with a watchtower, and the Zerg having to kite all the way around this side to get a flank, if they spawn horizontally. So this is really, really great so far. As we're going to see GuMiho just being pushed away with this first Reaper. I mean, no surprise there. Main point of this Reaper so far is just to find out where Scarlett is. Could maybe have checked for the third base, but that's pretty much the only information he could have got for now. He's actually pulling all the way back home. As we see, Scarlett is just going to go into that pneumatized carapace and see what happens. So this Reaper just going to come back up, and we're just going to be seeing that orbital command just going to be finishing up in a couple of moments here from GuMiho. So orbital command about to finish up. As we see, Widowmine on the way, so it looks as though it's just going to be a very standard Widowmine drop to begin with. Maybe we see a siege tank follow up and then some more drops to kind of shut down a lot of the creep tumors and so on. And it looks as though that's exactly what we're looking towards right now as that tech lab starts to come down onto the factory. We do have, again, pneumatized carapace about to finish, so Scarlett is going to be able to get some good scout information. She'll be able to see exactly what's going on right now in this game in the very near future, so she should have a very good read and very good defense. She's going to play a little bit of a different playstyle herself here on Frost. She's going to take that Rotor, so she actually has quite a lot of gas starting to bank up now. I'd be very surprised if she got super aggressive with this, with these spawn locations. So I would imagine these are just going to be a few defensive roaches, and maybe something like a Lair and an Evo Chamber to start kind of teching up in the game. I mean, maybe even a bit fast for Lair, but I'd be very surprised if she made 10 roaches and attacked across the map right here on cross spawn Frost. That being said, she might just make a bunch of roaches to be able to clean up this attack and then go across the map. Maybe she just feels like she needs a lot of roaches anyway. She's actually making a lot of Zerglings. I mean, they're obviously good for their defense in their own way as well. With the extra speed in the Lings, they can respond very quickly to the location of the medevac and the drop here. As we are going to see that medevac just coming towards the third base. A Liberator as a follow-up here, so no second medevac, which means, yeah, no tank as well, because we're just going to see Stim on the way up. So, GuMiho just with this little bit of aggression here to begin, and that's pretty much going to be it. As we're just going to be seeing the, wouldn't mind just sat over here. That's the only issue right now that Scarlett faces. Getting a Ravager up though, and I like that. One Ravager going to Corrosive Ballast down in 2 different shots, and she will be able to kill this off before the cooldown comes off. So I like that. No overreaction or anything like that, as we do just see this Liberator just coming over to the left-hand side. That Widowmine has gone down now, and the fact that Liberator's already been seen, the Spore Crawler's up. I mean, Scarlett again looking to defend very effectively early on in this game. These Marines not going to catch that Overlord just yet. Speed, pretty good. And as this Liberator comes in, and will just siege up, decides not to actually, backs away. So, Scarlett taking no damage so far. Has a couple more Ravagers as well, so can land those biles onto the Liberator if it's sieged, and GuMiho doesn't respond in time. So, has to be a little bit cautious here, GuMiho, with this Liberator, so it makes sense for him to back away, I guess. I could have probably got some damage done and then backed away, but either way, looking good. Scarlett taking down these rocks so she has a little bit more freedom when it comes to kind of leaving her bases. And she'll probably move towards a 4th base very soon as well, especially as the Terran player has a 3rd command center morphing into an orbital already, and that'll be lifting up and moving into position before we know it as well. So, very standard so far. A couple extra racks from GuMiho, going up to that 5 racks now. Very standard sort of 3 base kind of production line that we're seeing from him. Lair about to finish with Scarlett too. She's also got them upgrades and a slight lead here. Missile upgrades, and again, it is going to be that roach based composition rather than the Lingbane meter which we've been seeing out of her in game number 1 and 2 so far. So, Scarlett changing up her playstyle as we enter game number 3. Is it going to be enough to take her to the semi-finals of the Douyu Star Masters monthly final? Well, that's what we're going to be finding out in the very near future, as we have that command center over here just landing on the 3rd base, as we mentioned previously, and GuMiho just collecting a few units together. Just getting set to go here in the very near future. A few Lings and Ravagers just joining up, with Roaches as well, just joining up from Scarlett. Is just going to be seeing that 4th hatchery on the way down. And as units just coming out onto the map from GuMiho. So first little push of the game from GuMiho, but the thing is, Scarlett looks very prepared for this. She's got a 1-1 finishing, no roach speed yet, but she's going to be playing defensively with creep, so that should be okay. And I mean, she's going to see it coming with the Watchtower as well. So she's got a few battles she can already start landing, and I'll just slow things down a little bit. And I mean, now she knows it's coming in. She's got Infestors on the way up, going into Hive as well. Probably going to be a melee upgrade and a +2 carapace, then is what we'll see next. And there's a +2 carapace, and again, probably melee sometime soon, but not just yet. She can't afford it, as she gets ready to try and go up against this, well, 2-tank push. It's not a lot, and it is Medivacs to retreat with this if she, well, if GuMiho needs to. It's exactly what GuMiho starts to do. Pulls away, doesn't take any, any kind of fight there at all. Just backs away almost immediately, as we're going to be seeing these roaches, ravages, and feelings. You're going to have to kind of come back at you and deal with this Liberate, which goes up to 12 kills. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's huge. A couple of battles coming down. Does that clean it up? Oh, no. So close. So close. And Scarlett is taking more damage over here now. 16 workers killed. That is really, really painful. So that actually is some kind of damage that might just bring GuMiho right into this game. I mean, 16 workers. That's all workers, right? I mean, yeah, more or less all workers are lava as well. Oh, that's brutal. Okay, so I mean, that's the sort of thing that definitely gets GuMiho kind of going a little bit here. He's slowing down the creep spread as well with this kind of tank push, which is just sort of sitting stationary in the center of the map right now. A little bit of a drop down the south. We'll clean some creep, maybe make the way towards the third. But Scarlett has enough units here to realistically deal with this. Fungal Growth's now available too, and she doesn't quite catch the Fungal Growth. And that was a little bit of a delayed Fungal Growth there in the very end. As you will see that Medivac just backing away. Marines, a couple of tanks, a couple of Medivacs just joining up on this Watchtower now. As we do see, what's this over here? This Liberator is back in play now. 19 kills. This one Liberator is causing so much trouble for Scarlett. It's really frustrating to play against. We see the reinforcements coming across the map from GuMiho. And so our question now becomes, does Scarlett have enough to hold this off? Scan from GuMiho doesn't really do anything. Maybe a bit of a misplaced scan even, as we're going to see Scarlett going to jump on the opportunity to fight here. Fungal Growth here initially is going to catch 2 of the tanks which can't lift up, with the corrosive bars coming down afterwards. Love that. That was pretty nice actually from Scarlett as a start to this. Now there's only 2 tanks. In fact, she just half the tank count, which is pretty darn good. Half the tank count is definitely something you're always going to be happy to see. So you're going to see her just sitting back, has a good amount of fungal still available, and still has a creep to play with as well. It's not a lot of creep spread, but it's still kind of out here, you know. It's still going to be GuMiho pushing on to creep if he wants to take this engagement, if he wants to force the issue. So Scarlett's just sitting tight, just playing patiently. She's got ultras on the way, Kindness plating now starts, so she knows she's the player who can afford to just sit back and wait a little bit. As we see quite a lot of army going down there to deal with this drop. Are we going to see the fungal to deal with it? No, not going to be worth wasting the fungal growth. She goes for it, but misses it anyways as the drop ends up just going in towards the main base. I mean, these drops are one of the more annoying things to deal with when you're playing a Roach Ravager style. You don't really have any real anti-air apart from kind of a fungal corrosive bile combination to kind of get damage done. As we see Scarlett losing a bit more of a creep spread, so this is starting to look a little bit scarier now towards the front of her base. A couple of tanks just sieged up just to the right hand side of this fourth. There's a Roach Ravager just spreading here once again. So Roach Ravager just spreading now. Actually, Scarlett going to start moving forwards. First Fungal Growth doesn't really land on too much. First Ultra coming into the game as well, going to start connecting. And well, them Ultras, they're not invincible just yet, but Scarlett's making pretty good progress against this army, and actually GuMiho is being pushed back. Can she get the Fungal on the Medivacs? Yes, she does on 3 of them, and she hits the bows to follow up as well. Great little bit of a Fungal there, as the Marine Marauder still being pushed back, takes the Watchtower, but Scarlett's very confident now. Going to keep moving forwards. One more Fungal Growth available, and it's going to land right on the Medivacs once more, and that's going to be another huge pick off for Scarlett as she pushes her way through this army, and Scarlett looking very good now in game number 3, as she has dealt with everything that GuMiho has. The drop in the main base got dealt with as well, didn't do any damage at all, and Scarlett right now is crushing this in game 3 because now she's in a late game. She's just hit the Ultras, she's hitting Kindness Plate, and Adrenal Glands is in the game. Scarlett is getting everything she needs right now. She's got the Ravagers up, so she can fight against the early Liberator count of GuMiho, and this is looking very good for Scarlett. Begins to push the creep back onto the map. Looking like a fantastic setup now from Scarlett as we see these units just moving forwards, getting set up, ready to go. And as we're just going to be seeing, I mean, GuMiho, what does he do now? I mean, he's just got to sit back, try and defend them. Liberator's not going to help too much though. Fungal Growth, great catch again. And that's going to be a few more Marines taking some more damage again. Just one Liberator right here. And that is not much of a match for 17 Ravagers, which are currently moving forwards. I think Scarlett knows this as well. I love them bows. Just going to force cancel on that turret. As we just see these units start to come in. And again, these Liberators, they're just not going to last long enough at all. First Liberator goes down. More Liberators already being fungled. There's the bows to start cleaning them up as well. And Scarlett just moves on forwards here. A couple of Widowmines actually going to get some pretty good shots into the center of the Ravagers. Planetary Fort is going to buy some time as well. Scarlett maybe wanting to divert her attention towards the third base instead of this fourth. just because it's a bit of an easier target. Some free depots up here, for example, and that's stuff you can just pick off for definite here, as we see a reinforcing creep still spreading through the center of the map. Ultras gonna lead the charge in. Nice fungal growth to help these Ultras out in their initial fight. A couple of Biles actually land on an Ultras there. Not the friendliest of corrosive Biles, as we see. I wouldn't mind being picked off by Biles as well. Actually, mostly only just Ravagers left right now for Scarlett. Has to be a little bit cautious here. Another Ultra coming forward to tank. Again, them Liberators have to be careful too, though. So many Ravagers, so that it means that, if they do kind of siege up, they are committed and has to be sure that they're not just going to instantly be taken down by the Biles. Got more Biles coming in. GuMiho just about realizes it in time. Moves the bio out of the pathway there, as we see. A couple of stray Liberators looking as though they just want to sort of siege up in position over here somewhere. See a couple of Infestors about to pop out, so I mean this isn't going to be too much of an issue. Queen coming in as well, and I mean with the Spore Crawler also coming in here, this Queen might go down, but Spore Crawler burrows, and so that will be a dead Liberator. The other Liberator off into the main base just avoids a fungal growth. I will siege up over here as well, so a little bit of a nuisance too. Liberators definitely distracting Scarlett for now, giving GuMiho a bit more freedom onto the map, but he just lost his worker line on the third base. He's down to 40 workers against the 60. His army count is not looking good. Scarlett's upgrades a little bit lackluster, I guess, on the melee. Actually, sorry, I read that wrong. I thought she was on 2-1, but the +1 upgrade is actually a missile upgrade. She's actually on +3 carapace, so she's completely fine here. She's going to be on 3-3 very soon, as is the Terran player, so it's very even upgrades. Scarlett just has this army, and the thing is, GuMiho's just been set so far back that he's not been able to realistically prepare for late game. He's not been able to mass up the Liberators. He's not been able to just sit back defensively. Scarlett hasn't let him, so Scarlett's not letting GuMiho get to the stage of the game he really wants to get to right now. As these medevacs load, that fungal is so tempting to just throw out there, try and land on those full medevacs. That would have been huge. As we see Scarlett just pulling away, though, she realizes that a lot of the army is down to the south, and so she can attack up to the north. That's exactly what she's doing. These 4 medevacs will be a bit of an issue if she doesn't deal with them. 2 medevacs towards the 4th base as well. And actually, Scarlett might lose this 4th base. Ultralisk comes in, going to be able to dive between the minerals here, and that's going to annoy this Ultralisk and keep it kind of dancing. These 4 medevacs as well going to be scary as the 4th base, the Terran player also going down. I mean, even if this goes kind of a little bit base trading, though, I do still favor Scarlett because she just has the army she needs to fight against anything the Terran has, right? So that's going to be kind of the positive for Scarlett, as we see her. Well, she is going to be struggling to deal with this. She has lava, right? She has 11 lava. She's got money to spend. I mean, just a few ultras would be enough, even, as we see her continue to attack into this position. A few units up on the high ground. Scarlett is actually losing all of her bases right now. She has to be very, very cautious because this is definitely not what she wants. She's going 7 more Infestors. This is awkward. She's got 1 Ultra coming back in towards the main base. I don't think this Ultra can actually fight that much bio. Gets a couple of shots off. Nice little pick up there on the lower health units at the front. You're going to see GuMiho losing his own 3rd base as well. It's a very awkward situation that GuMiho is forcing here, as we see Fungal Growth grabbing a few more SCVs. Biles will start to work their way against an orbital. This is a very awkward situation that GuMiho is forced because Scarlett's lost a lot of her base. In fact, Scarlett's just down to, well, just her natural expansion. Long distance mine now from the rest of her base as well. She will start up the other hatcheries. And GuMiho, though, can reland this 3rd base, can mine from that location again. I'd love to see Scarlett just leave like 1 or 2 lings up there just to keep an eye on that base. It's still kind of a difficult army for GuMiho to fight against, but he's getting there. I mean, the Liberator count is increasing. I mean, his gas count is going to be struggling now because he's mined out of gas in the main. His natural will not be far away. In fact, he's not even mining much gas, so he can't afford too much more. Man, that drop play, effective. The thing is, though, Scarlett will somewhat stabilize, The only problem is that she's kind of running out of kind of stuff she can build because she lost a lot of her tech structures. She lost the Ultras Cavern, so she's going to have to rebuild the lair, the hive, and then the Ultras Cavern. She wants Ultras again. She did make a lot of Infestors, which are on the map, and they're going to join up now. It's, again, a very scary army for GuMiho to fight against still. I still stand by that. So if Scarlett just does the right thing, I think, which is just not taking a fight and just sort of sits down here and just denies GuMiho a 3rd or 4th base, then I think it's okay. Like, if she attacks in, maybe it gets a little bit scary, but if she just sort of sits down the ramp, she should be fine here. These Ultras just don't want to kind of take free damage from the Liberators, of course. I mean, she just doesn't want to fight into this, and the thing is as well, if GuMiho tries to take a 3rd base, then she can fight because it's a bit more of an open area. Losing an Infestor there, not pretty. She still has the drone cannon as well, so she can, rebuild to some extent. Question is, what does she decide to rebuild? Still no lair. There's the lair starting up now. I mean, she still has an infestation pit, which is nice. She still has the Bane Nest, the Roach Warren, and the Swan Pool. So she can rebuild some things, just not everything, as we see. And this might just be worth fighting into for a couple of Biles to take down a couple of Liberators. I mean, this low eco game, a couple of Biles like that is very, very worthwhile. See a few Infestors starting to get taken down. Scarlett not being the best with her Infestor control in the last few moments. And Ultra just goes down as well. She has to be very cautious here. Nice little fungal bow combo. Doesn't actually pick off too many Medivacs though. As the Infestors again having to be cautious right now. Third base from GuMiho lands and will begin to mine if Scarlett isn't careful. GuMiho spreading out a little bit, coming in as though he might set up a big concave here. Another Marauder, a few more Marines coming in. Does he have some extra gas mining now? He does. He sorted that out over towards this natural. As the mules begin to drop on down. Well, Scarlett has got her bases up, so she is 56 workers to the 15. So, I mean, Scarlett's income's looking good. It's just she needs to get him to that hive. She needs to get the Ultra Cavern again, because she could definitely do with another couple of Ultras. Or just the Spire. Even the Spire to help her out against a few of these Liberators and Medivacs. Could be very nice too. I mean, obviously she also wants to be very cautious that she doesn't end up fighting against, again, kind of another set of, drops. Has to make sure she doesn't allow another set of drops to do a whole bunch more. I love this. Bios again, just cleaning out these Liberators. We're going to see, ooh, a little bit of a fight. The Bio's starting to move down this ramp. Well, I mean, there's a lot of Marauders in this. Actually, the Ultras are starting to go down very quickly. But the Marauders are very weak against the Zerglings because they don't do a lot of damage against the Zerglings. And the Lings with Adrenal Glands will do quite a lot, as we see another Liberator going to go down. Scarlett again just playing this slow, not rushing into a fight, just a fungal growth here, fungal growth there, a couple units at a time, knowing that she outmatches her opponent's economy. She's very happy to just take this slow, not really commit to a larger fight, just a little bit of a fight here, a little bit of a fight there. That's all she needs right now. A couple of Biles will take down another Liberator, as we see Scarlett. Is she happy to fight into this now? No fungal growth really remaining. Oh, she actually catches a nice fungal on the Medivacs to the top, and the Biles hit on a few of those as well, so a few more of those go down. And she establishes a fifth base now to the left-hand side. Hive about to finish. Scarlett's pretty much just got herself back into this, back into where she was. Just now needs that tech structure, whether it's an Ultra Cavern or a Spire. I mean, she could have put down the Spire already, so I guess it's an Ultra Cavern. I think the Ravager force is still good enough to fight against this, against the Liberators that she would have wanted Corruptors or so for anyways, so I don't really think she needs that. As we see, base moving in towards the fourth location. Another fungal, another bile. We see Infestors being targeted down still, but again, GuMiho has been picked away, and now Scarlett really is opening up a supply differential between the two of them. And I think GuMiho's army is starting to look just a little bit weaker here. And starting to look as though it might just not make it. As you see, still just a few Marines and Marauders having a little bit of a think as to what they might want to get up to. Spreading out once again. Another Infestor being added on. The Hive has now finished, so again she can rebuild the Ultra Cavern if she wants to, and there it is on the way up. Again, Scarlett and 54 workers and a lot of healthy bases is looking pretty fine in this game. There's the Ultra Cavern towards the fourth base. And again, just spreading her drones out as well to kind of her newer bases as well. Again, just at this kind of later stage of the game, the Ravagers on their own are going to be enough, and another nice fungal growth. Going to clean up a few more of these units. GuMiho just trying to hang in here until the very, very end. As we do just see the Marine Marauder splitting up a little bit, just having a little bit of a think as to what might be happening here, what might be the next move. I mean, what does GuMiho do? I mean, I love the drops, and maybe just more drops would have been the way for him to go for this. Continue to drop throughout the game, just try keep on dropping, take Scarlett's attention away from the front while he gets this third and fourth base back up again. Big fungal growth, Biles come down. I think this might be the fight that ends the game. Scarlett disengages once more. I mean, again though, like the drops could have just been a way for GuMiho to buy himself the time where he gets the third and fourth base up, keeps Scarlett's army busy, maybe actually picks off some of the tech structures again, and slows Scarlett's army from rebuilding too. That could have been GuMiho's way, instead of just sitting back here in a position where he couldn't really do anything at all, I mean, Scarlett at this point I think is pretty secure in this game, just wants to make sure she's okay. Finally, GuMiho loads up one drop, but I think one Medivac not really that scary. 4 Ultras on the way up as well from Scarlett. She's got the 5th base running. She's about to take an extra base. I thought that was a drone. There it is. She's going to take an extra base here as well, so just continue to set up her economy. Another nice fungal and bile combo. And again, it's just a little bit here, a little bit there. Just continue to try and pick away at whatever she can. She's got creep spread around the entirety of the map. She knows about this drop from a mile away. You see a couple of queens out the front going to get cleaned up, and a little bit of a scan. And, well, Scarlett will be pushing this back a little bit. Ling is already underneath this Medivac, although it'll go in towards the main base. A few Lings in position already. Not going to fight in, though, until the rest of the reinforcements come on in as well. Scarlett pulling her entire army back to deal with this one drop. A little bit of an overcommitment, of course, and I mean, this is the sort of thing, I mean, if she was doing that before, GuMiho would have been able to mine off these bases a lot more freely. He wouldn't have had to trade so much army to try and hold them. There would have been a much better scenario as we see that getting dealt with, and we will just see kind of an army moving on to the creep spread once again now from GuMiho, just clean up a few more of these creep tumors. There's a few changes there in the main base. I was like, I'm sure that drop just died. We're just going to be seeing Marines and Marauders coming in towards the 5th base, and GuMiho, what can he do? He can kind of ring around the hatcheries and just continue to run around the bases and just kind of keep on trying to fight, but is it ever going to be enough? I don't think it is, and GuMiho actually is going to type out GG right there. Scarlett takes the 2-1 after being 0-1